Well, we're not quite sure when Orville arrived in Kalamazoo. We know he was born in 1856. He begins appearing in the city directories in the late 1880s. At that point, Kalamazoo is a city that is sort of a bustling, smaller city with just a variety of industries. And it's in this atmosphere then that Orville shows up. He is a musician. He worked as a clerk in a shoe store, the A.P. Sprague shoe store. Somewhere in the 1890s, he began manufacturing musical instruments.
Orville Gibson was essentially America's Stradivarius. He's the father of the wooden instrument building craft here in North America. Although he's predated by Christian Frederick Martin, the original, he was far more innovative overall, and he helped to establish Kalamazoo as America's Cremona, Cremona being the home of Stradivarius in northern Italy, which is considered the mother church of wooden instrument building, and Kalamazoo takes that role on here in American culture. And I think he started building instruments because he was a musician, and the instruments of the day really didn't suit his needs. And he had some really unique design innovations that really set him apart from the day, and he ran with them. And he was a very gifted natural woodworker. And considering that he only worked with hand tools and used primarily old furniture wood in many cases, because it was the most readily available and seasoned quality wood. And he did some really wonderful stuff, and the instruments hold up today. This guitar sounds pretty darn good for 100 years old. The methods that he used primarily were based upon Stradivarius, in that he would take pieces of wood and carve the curvatures in them, thereby keeping the grain pattern straight and having one solid piece of wood, as opposed to joining pieces together, which the traditional Neapolitan mandolin, which you see, which has the round back, is like usually 10 or 12 or 13 pieces of wood laced together, where in this case, the back of this mandolin is one solid piece of wood, both in the back and through the neck area, and also a solid top. So you basically got, well, 4 pieces of wood. The use of the star and crescent inlays, which is attributed to a gentleman in Grand Rapids that cut the mother of pearl, who was from Turkey. So he provided them with this Turkish motif, and these are pretty much Orville's personal little design statement there. One thing about Orville, not only from a design standpoint, but from a mercantile standpoint, Orville's descriptions of his instruments are often compared to Old Testament verse. A lot of fire and brimstone, and a lot of, if you don't play a Gibson, you're a lesser human being, sort of stretch to the whole thing. And one thing that the Gibson Company pioneered very early on and set the standard for the techniques we still use today are artist endorsements. So they went out and got the premier musicians of the day and made them Gibson endorsees. And consequently, the artist's fame and the company's fame would go hand in hand. And to be an endorser of a Gibson guitar is considered quite a feather in one's cap. Just as you have Jerry's kids, we have Orville's kids, and I'm certainly one of Orville's kids. In the days before men flew the sky, the world was seen with different eyes, and a man could write his name upon the wind. Working in the night by the flame of candlelight, a young man made himself a mandolin. Now he lives upon the wind in the sound of mandolin. When they're playing after the ball is over, no matter where you've been, when you play your mandolin, spare a thought for Orville Gibson, won't you please? Spare a thought for Orville Gibson, won't you please?